Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports. Happy post-Thanksgiving and happy holiday season and all that good stuff. With Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. And indeed, we are into the final Monday of November.
It's a big day. I mean, it's you had championship weekend in the FCAC. Now you've got the state football playoffs about to start. This is, the time of year that as a sports fan locally, you look forward to all year long.
Absolutely true, although we're coming off another great Thanksgiving. And look, there were going to be good games no matter what. We had the good fortune of seeing one of the best down at Boyle Stadium.
It was a spectacular game, spectacular atmosphere. Everything about the game, it was just remarkable, just a great thing to be a part of. And if there's rumors and innuendo. Is this the last one? If it was, what an epic way to go out.
Well, we said the same thing last year, too, in the 49th edition of the championship game. And, of course, that turned out to be one for the ages as well. I thought this one was not as good as last year. And I think what leads me, this year's game was more balanced. Darien and New Canaan played a game that we saw 7-7, we saw 14-14, we saw ties, we saw 21-all, and then finally Darien was able to pull away for the 28-21 win. Last year we saw 21-0 New Canaan, and the thinking was, oh gosh, we've got a stinker on our hands. But it was that comeback and that edge of your seat feeling that you had throughout the second half, especially that fourth quarter, was just white knuckle football. And that's what made it so special. Yeah, it's just in this case the game was just competitive, evenly matched all the way through. We said before on the pregame shows that this was an evenly matched game. In fact, a couple of our panel got the number and the score dead on, and we ended up getting exactly what we were looking for. Well, one guy who played in not only last year's game but this year's game and caught one heck of a touchdown pass is Hudson Hamill of the Darien Blue Wave, and Hudson joins us right here on Nutmeg Sports. Hudson, Rob Adams, and Don Eng, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're great, thank you. We didn't have a chance to talk to you on Thanksgiving, so I figured we'd have you on today. Congratulations, and what a catch you made. Take us through that play.
Well, Timmy rolled out. It was kind of our typical goal line play, and he saw me stop a little short of my original route, and he trusted me to go up and make a play, and I was fortunate enough to go up and pull it down, get my feet in bounds. It was really a great moment for our offense, a good moment for Timmy. He's been working really hard to cement himself as the player of the game there, making a big-time throw in a big moment.
Have you ever jumped that high in your life?
I don't know. I didn't really feel like I was that high until I saw the replay. I got up there pretty good. I didn't know I had that in me.
Dwight Clark was impressed watching at home, by the way, in case he has no idea. He has no idea what that means, likely, but Rob does.
Do you get the Dwight Clark?
Yeah, I know what that means. I know.
Okay. Absolutely. See, he gets the reference.
Right.
Takes it right back to the catch, as they called it. Well, this is the modern day catch, and it was really a great play, but in a great game. Tell me about your feeling going into the game. Your coach said to me you guys were confident, but you never got out of control. You never got overconfident. Take me through the game from your perspective.
Right. Well, coming in, we had a really veteran group playing in the big game last year, and a couple of us 2 years ago. The feeling we had pregame was more of a control type, like Coach said. Obviously, we were ready to go and excited to play, but we weren't out of our minds crazy. We knew we were focused, knew what we had to do, and we came out and we were able to execute. The feeling pregame is unlike any other for the Turkey Bowl, but this year I definitely felt more control than I did in past years.
We're talking with Hudson Hamill here on Nutmeg Sports, just underway on this Monday edition. And, obviously the championship means so much to you guys. That fourth straight Turkey Bowl win means so much to you guys, I'm sure, with all of that. But now you got to take care of business against a team that you've seen once before in the Staples Wreckers. How do you get ready for this team tomorrow night?
Right. Well, we know we got work to do. We came in actually at 9 a.m. right after Thanksgiving, get back to work. We know Staples pretty well. We saw them 3 weeks ago, I think. They're a great football team. They're big up front. They got a couple skill guys that can get the job done. So we know we have to come to play tomorrow and hopefully come out with a W because we want that state championship.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Was coming off of last season, Turkey Bowl winning last year, FCIAC winning last year, and then coming up a little bit short against New Canaan in the state playoffs. What's the mood like in that Darien Blue Wave locker room right now, knowing that you've won the FCIAC championship, but the mission is not yet accomplished?
Right. Well, that feeling was great winning the FCIAC championship in the Turkey Bowl, but that was also, like you just said, something that we've experienced before, and we know that. Last year we were disappointed with our 12-1 coming up short in the state championship, and all the seniors this year, I think, after the loss last year, circled the state championship this year as what we really wanted. Obviously, the FCIAC championship and the Turkey Bowl is great too, but the state championship that has eluded us the last 2 years is something that we're really driven to get, and I think we're putting in all the hard work necessary, and hopefully we can get the job done.
Your offensive line played so well in that game, and that was a big reason why Timmy was able to play as well as he did. And just as an offensive unit, you guys were so impressive, but I want to make sure we take a moment and recognize those guys up front.
Absolutely. Andrew Stuber, Spencer Stovall, Andrew Clark, Brian Keating, Court Fox, they all did a great job. New Canaan definitely dialed up their blitzes, brought a lot of pressure, and they did a great job just reacting and giving Timmy the time necessary to make all the big throws.
I just want to piggyback on what Rob just said, is that going into the game, there was a lot of hype surrounding quarterback play, and it was all about a certain Collins from New Canaan. You got a pretty good quarterback there yourself. It must have been kind of a special feeling for that offensive unit to put up the points like that.
Well, we knew I thought that Timmy's the best quarterback in the state all year, and coming in, we knew all the hype that Mike Collins was getting, and we were determined to let Timmy showcase what he can do on the big stage. I think he kind of got overlooked this year a little bit, and I think our defense, our secondary really took it to heart that if we can kind of produce a mediocre game on their side offensively, and Timmy can kind of steal the day and showcase to everybody watching what he can do, and I think that's exactly what happened.
Well, we know the mission, and you mentioned Court Fox. I want to spend a moment on him because as good as Mark Ivanchik has been all year, he played a great defensive game, I thought, on Thursday, and then finally opened the door for Ivanchik to have the big sack late in the game. I just thought Court Fox had a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. The defensive line, Mark was obviously getting a lot of attention from New Canaan, which opened up some one-on-one matchups with Quinn Fay, Court Fox, Justin Plank. And just like you said, Cord and Quinn had a couple nice sacks because they were able to use those one-on-one matchups and win them because we're confident in them to do that. Mark was more than happy to take the load of the offensive lineman and open up his teammates to get the job done. And then, of course, Mark stepping up on that fourth down was pretty huge too because we knew that was coming. He's a big-time player, and we were just waiting for him to make a signature play.
I'm sorry, Rob. I'm just looking at I don't know if you can see the video we're looking up at the screen there, but that's a pain face.
Mike Collins getting sandwiched between, I believe that's Christian Trafone, and that might even be Hudson right in the middle of all that. But anyway, Hudson, what a great game for you guys. Congratulations, continued success, and we hope to see you guys down the road really soon.
Thank you. Yep, hopefully.
All right, that is Hudson Hamill of the Darien Blue Wave, who caught that big touchdown late in the Turkey Bowl. In fact, a highlight package that we can show you. But before we get to that, I mean, that was a special football game, and it really is a special day.
It really is. And what I thought was really most special was that for perhaps the first time ever, that the day was able to be shared with people that were just all over the place. It was like if you were watching on Twitter, it just blew up that people were checking in from all over the planet. They were watching from five continents, 100 different countries. It was just a great day of football for people that otherwise would not have been able to participate in it.
122 different countries is what happened. That's the visits we had. 122 different countries, and there were some. We were laughing in the booth that maybe people are just making it up that they're watching in Taiwan and
they're not really in Pakistan.
No, we've got the data that says nope, they were there. They were in Australia, and they were in, I can't even remember all the different places that were mentioned to me. I know England was one that was talked about. I think there was an Ireland that I saw eventually across
And people were
Twitter.
posting pictures of their viewing parties in France, in Quebec, Canada, where they were casting the game from their laptop onto a TV, and then people were sitting around and watching it. That was really great. That was something really special.
Yeah, it was a special, and it made for a fun third quarter of reading all these different places off. And I think Spain came up. I think Italy. I'm trying to remember.
Well, just
all
to
the
show you
different
also
places.
just
My
how
gosh.
far these alumni networks are cast.
Yeah.
That you have people from all over the place. I mean, we had thought last year we did a game and someone was watching it on their phone, on a plane, and we thought that was great. And now just all over the planet. People checking in and watching because the bonds you form in high school with alma mater, with your fellow players, these things last, and it's really great that people are able to participate even though they may be 8,000 miles away. So that was something that I really thought was remarkable.
Now, I'm convinced Darien is the better of the two teams. I thought it coming into the game, but I will say, they play 10 times. I'm giving Darien a 6-4 edge. I don't think it goes much more than that. These teams are close.
Yeah, I would probably go a little bit farther. I think it's maybe a 7-3. New Canaan definitely would get their wins if they played often enough. But I do think Darien probably now, in my opinion, the odds-on favorite in Class LL, and just by a little bit. The best team in the FCIAC this year.
I don't know how they deal with Southington. That's a game I would want to see.
It is. I think that's a game everyone wants to see. That's kind of the game where it's leaning toward. In this case, I think both teams are explosive. I think Darien plays better defense than Southington, though, and that could be the decider.
And the team that's going to say, hey, what about us, is Shelton in Class LL. They're the top seed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a bit overlooked. They've had some injuries, but they appear to have been able to overcome them. Their depth could really be a factor. And we'll talk about the state playoffs a little bit more in depth tomorrow. It is interesting in Class LL, though. 3 of the 4 games are rematches of regular season games. So you have Shelton, West Haven, Glastonbury versus Conard, and of course Darien versus Staples. So we'll see if it holds up these regular season results.
And not to be forgotten, New Canaan will go and play Windsor in Class L. Harding will have a home game. That'll be at Kennedy Stadium tomorrow. They won't play at Hedges. They'll play at Kennedy Stadium, but it is a home game. Ansonia with a game, as well as Trinity Catholic at Boyle. St. Joe's has a game, so just some of the local stuff. But again, we'll talk about that more on tomorrow's show. Next week, by the way, will be a little bit different. Don and Mike Suppy are going to host the Monday and Tuesday edition of the show, with me doing the Wednesday edition of the show as we hit the road for another FCIAC tour. So we'll have a lot of that next week.
Right, and of course, always exciting. Now we get into the winter season. As an old Southern Connecticut Conference fan myself, that means hockey, so I'm looking forward to that.
And to that end, Don,
drum roll,
I will announce right now game number 1 of the 2015-16 winter season. December 14th, girls ice hockey at the Darien Ice Rink, Guilford, New Canaan. We will be off and running with our season.
off and skating.
Off and skating. Another game on the 21st. In fact, a doubleheader. We'll have it for you at Bennett Rink on the 21st. Staples West and Shelton takes on Amity at 4, and New Canaan and Notre Dame of West Haven at 6 at the Edward L. Bennett Rink in West Haven, as well as a game on the 28th, a game on the 29th, and then into January 2016. The funny thing is, because of the way the schedule hits, and I'm not going to break it all down for you, I'd love to find a basketball game between now and January 1st. I can't seem to do it. So all that being said, we won't do our first basketball game until Friday, January 8th, and that will be Danbury at Norwalk High School.
That's a fun game, and obviously, these. I love the atmosphere of high school hockey games. I'm not sure how many of these games that I'll be helping to broadcast with, but I do promise that I will do my best not to get thrown out of any arenas this year.
That's my goal.
That's my goal too.
That is my goal. All right, we're going to take a break here on Nutmeg Sports. Still have the highlight package that we can show you from last Thursday. It's really fun to watch. Then Don and I have a few things we want to bat around as well, so we'll continue. It's Nutmeg Sports for a Monday right here on the HAN Network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
This fall for our red panda. That's right, Rashawn the red panda will be visiting the Beardsley Zoo for a limited time. Resembling raccoons, red pandas primarily eat bamboo, but will occasionally eat fruits, berries, young leaves, and certain tree bark, like their better-known black and white cousins. As an adult, Rashawn is expected to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and you can see him at the South American Rainforest exhibit, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo of Bridgeport. A whole new experience. 875 Noble Avenue, Bridgeport. 203-394-6565.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky.
Hard to believe this is it. The 2015 FCAC Championship game is on the air, and good morning, everyone. Time to punt it away. Stepping into it, blocking it! It's recovered by the Rams at the 14-yard line. Climbing on top of the ball was Jack Rechterman. Under center. The give goes rolling right. It's Collins. Collins himself. End zone hit hard. Touchdown.
I absolutely love the play call, Rob. They get under center, the full house backfield, that old power T formation.
Hamill in the slot. Graham to throw. First down. Lots of time. Angles it. He's got Hamill open at the 5. He's got it. Touchdown.
I said you would hear more of Hudson Hamill, and you got it right there. His 5th touchdown of the year. A simple out-and-up route. The defender bid on it on the little 5-yard out route. He goes up the seam. Not going to find an easier throw for Timmy Graham right there.
First down for the Blue Wave. 7-7 game. They're at the Ram 39. Graham to throw. Graham is going for it. Graham for Minikis. Minikis on the run. Touchdown. 3 catches on this drive alone. He was the leading receiver coming into the game for New Canaan. 2:10 to go in the first half here at Boyle Stadium with at least 10,000, I would say, of our closest friends looking to throw as Collins steps up, lobs it, wide open. Andrew John sliding. Touchdown, New Canaan.
Andrew John's the inside receiver, a beautiful corner route. The defender got rubbed away from another receiver. And a great throw by Michael Collins. These quarterbacks have had some easy touchdown throws today. I mean, just loft it up. Give your receiver time to get underneath it.
2nd and long inside the 30. Stepping up Graham. Graham throws it. He's got Stewart open. Near sideline. Touchdown, Darien.
A busted coverage looked like Ryan O'Connell. Burnt again. He was burnt by Minikis earlier in the first half. This time it's Rock Stewart. Matt Cognetta trots off.
4th and goal at the 1. Send the jumbo package in. 3 in the backfield. The give. DeFranco. Did he duck down? Yes, touchdown.
They go back to the same play that Michael Collins scored on the initial opening drive with, that full house backfield. Instead of keeping the ball this time on a little naked bootleg, he hands it on the left power to DeFranco.
Waiting. Rushing 5 are the Rams. Graham, got to get rid of it. He does. Deep ball. Hudson Hamill at the 45 and down at the 31. And a frustrated defender pounding the turf. And there are 5 receivers total for Graham on 3rd and a nightmare. But he's got Minikis, who makes the catch. 20 and down at the 15. 2nd and a nightmare becomes a first down.
And just busted coverages everywhere for New Canaan. Colin Minikis, I don't know how you leave that type of player wide open. A little wheel route from being the inside receiver. And now Darien is in business.
21-21 and a 3rd and 5 at the New Canaan 8. Minikis, Stewart, and Hamill all out to the right. Rolling the pocket. Graham lobs it. Back of the end zone. Hudson Hamill! Touchdown!
What an amazing grab by Hudson Hamill in the back of the end zone. High points the football, gets his feet down, and what a throw by Timmy Graham rolling to his right.
4th and 10 with 2:41 to go. 28-21. Play action rolling left. Here comes Ivanchik. Got him!
And the sack master for Darien is finally heard from. The one thing you cannot do, it's 4th and 10. Michael Collins, you have to evade pressure. Get rid of the football. Throw it up. The last thing you can do on 4th down is take a sack, and Mark Ivanchik makes New Canaan pay.
Or Andrew DeFranco, very dangerous near side. Collins to throw on 2nd down, slings it over the middle. He's got a man, Kyle Smith, turns at the 40, upfield to the 46. He lost it. It's recovered by Christian Trafone. And it's over. This one is going to be done in 1:08. Darien has recovered the ball for the 4th year in a row. The Darien Blue Wave have won the Turkey Bowl, and they are the 2015 FCAC champions.
And an amazing sight here at Boyle Stadium in Stamford. Fans, coaches, youngsters, family, friends, everyone joining in on the celebration. Just an amazing job by this Darien team.
Thanks, Chris. I'm joined pretty much with the man of the hour for Darien right now, a gentleman I spoke to last year at this same time, yes. Timothy Graham. Tim, take us to that first play of the game with the block punt. What was the feeling along the sideline?
Definitely all confidence. We all have each other's back. We're faced with adversity every time we play against New Canaan, and we knew we just had to come back next drive and punch it in. That's what we did.
Now, you guys played very well in the first half. You were very effective at moving the football on offense, but New Canaan wouldn't go away.
No, they're a very good defense. They're a very good team. They're well coached, and all the respect to them in the world.
Now, we're going to take it to that last touchdown. Whatever the play was called, were you surprised that Colin was that open?
I wasn't that surprised because we practiced against that defense all week, and we knew that would happen.
Congratulations, Tim. Great game. All right, Chris. I'm gonna move on to. I'm gonna talk to Christian Trafone here for a second. You know what? You were in the right place at the right time at the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the pattern coming across the middle, and fortunately I didn't make the tackle, but followed by, saw the ball pop out, and that was it, just like last year, you know.
Now, you guys did an excellent job all game neutralizing this New Canaan passing attack. They struggled pretty much most of the game. What was your guys' game plan going in?
Well, we knew Mike Collins is the best quarterback we would face all year, so strategy, and we stuck to it and came out on top. You know, we made a couple mental mistakes, but we picked each other up and prevailed in the end.
Now, honestly, I mean, Mark Ivanchik's been your guy all year on defense. He's pretty much run the show from on the defensive line. He'd been quiet all game. Then he gets that big sack at the end. Tell me, what was the feeling on the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, as a secondary, we were very thankful. You know, we were trying to get a pass rush to the quarterback the whole game, and Mark making a play like that late in the game, it saved us. You know, it gave us hope that we didn't have.
Congratulations on a great game. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Decent work by Eric Gendron, and I'm only saying it that way because he's sitting just off to our left. But nice job, and we'll call that the Gendron arrow going forward. But congratulations to Darien as they win the title. The 50th game comes to a close. Now we have to ask the question, will there be a 51st? my feeling right now, I have to admit, I think it's done.
50 is a nice number to end it on. It's been a great event, and it predates the state championships. But as we've said, it's not really, they're no fault of the FCAC or their teams. It's just in the current climate, in the current way that we regulate football in Connecticut, it just seems like it's just a really tough thing to do. And they had to. The way the schedule had to be manipulated this year to get this game to happen, I'm not sure it's going to happen again.
I blame it on the CIAC, quite bluntly, and I think if they did not have to push for a system in which we have 3 playoff games that include quarterfinals, semis, and a championship, which, oh, by the way, gives them a chance to make more of this stuff that I'm counting off here. That's where it starts in part for me. I do blame the medical community because I think while concussions are real, I'm not debating that. And there's a movie coming out this very next week, a couple of weeks, coming out in which we're going to learn exactly how bad the NFL has been and how tone deaf they are when it comes to concussions. I get that, but should teams be playing 15 games a year? No. Should they be able to play 9, 10 with an option to play a 1-game playoff? They don't need the number of scrimmages they have before the season. There are ways we can make this work because that championship, and again, I like Sean Patrick Bowley. He was on our air last week, and his feeling was quite firmly that, players care more about the state championship. And I'm here to say that's not 100% true. I've covered too many of these championship games. I know how much the FCAC championship means to these kids. You could hear it. You could hear both sides of the coin in Hudson Hamill, who was on this show just 20 minutes ago.
Right. I mean, Hudson Hamill was obviously saying that it was a great joy to win the FCAC, and then of course, last year the loss in the finals to New Canaan. I mean, I don't know. That would be interesting. New Canaan and Darien both finished 12-1 last year. Darien won the Turkey Bowl, and New Canaan won the state championship finals. I don't know if you asked them straight up who had a better season. I don't know how they would respond. It's just, but Bowley's point is well taken. Is that in the way that we have these things regulated, that if they can only play 10 regular season games, when you have a league like the FCAC, that means that basically you're sidelining 15 teams. You have 1,000 kids that can't play a full season in order to protect a championship game that's going to have 2 teams in it. I love championship games. I love the aura, the atmosphere. I love the anticipation. I love just being a fan. It's the most exciting game of the year, but not at the cost of diminishing the high school football experience of 1,000 players. And so I can't see that happening. And particularly when you put teams into a championship game based on an incomplete body of work. You have a 9-game season. You play 8 games, then determine who's going to play in the championship game, and then play the Thanksgiving games, typically the toughest game of the year, after the championship game has already been played. That sort of schedule manipulation just kind of indicates to me that there's just no way to fit this game in, and it's a shame, but that's just the reality that we're facing here in 2015.
Well, I think what we're coming back to again is it comes back to the CIAC because we start later than anybody else in the country. In the country, we start the latest, which is ridiculous. Parts of Connecticut, if they're in prep schools or things like that, they start a little bit closer to Labor Day. The state of Connecticut, it might as well be Halloween before we kick off. It's just. Right. That has always blown my mind. So you've got that to begin with. Now you got these mandatory buys thrown in. I just feel that there's a way for everyone to be happy, and I hate to see 50 years of tradition go out like this because I don't think it's necessary. Those 12,000 people or however many were there on Thursday would be more than happy to see another edition of this game, and I know I would.
Well, I would be too. And unfortunately, I don't disagree with anything you said regarding the CIAC forcing the teams to only play 10 games, including a playoff game. I mean, if we had a league playoff championship game for these leagues, we're talking about the NVL, the FCAC, the SCC, the CCC. So there's the 7 leagues in the state. So now you're talking 14 teams would play an 11th game. We can't have that, but we can have 32 teams playing Thursday, Tuesday, Saturday, playing 3 games in 11 days. For a state playoff, and that's 32 teams. So there should have been better resolution. It never should have come to this. It has, and unfortunately, it's looking like the FCAC championship game is going to be the casualty.
Yeah, and by the way, we were talking about the schedule off the air. The state schedule is basically this: playing tomorrow, all these games that are tomorrow, 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on where you are. Then the next game is December 7th, with the championship on, right now, December 12th for everyone.
And don't forget, these teams all played, most of them played Thursday also. So they're playing Thursday, then Tuesday, then Saturday. So they're playing 3 games in
And the
a little
7th
over
is
a week.
Monday, isn't it?
The 7th is, no, I think it's a Tuesday, Saturday.
Not the state schedule I'm looking at right now. Says the 7th, which would be, if tomorrow's the 1st, the 7th would be next Monday.
Okay, hold on a second. Math is hard. No, so looking at that bracket, then you're right. I mean, so yes, it's the 7th, 6:30 at the higher seed. So they're playing the 1st, the 7th, and the 12th. So it's
so now you're going Tuesday, Monday, Saturday.
right. So you're still playing 2 games in less than you're playing
That's
3
the
games in less than
point.
2 weeks.
That's the
plus
point.
a Thanksgiving game.
Exactly. So I'm saying if you can do this, we can find a way to have a conference championship game. At least in the FCAC, it means something. I'm willing to bet to Al Carbone and the folks in the SEC. I bet it means something to them. It might not in some of these other conferences, but I'm willing to bet in those 2. It means something. That's my take. And I get what Don's saying. Don and I are basically on the same page in that everybody's hands are tied, and they don't need to be. I think that's what I'm coming around to. One last thing I want to get to. This was brought up to me, and it's running in the Darien Times, in fact. I mentioned it to you guys off the air, and we'll see if we can flush this out a little bit more. But a letter was just put into the Darien Times, which in effect says that the annual Darien High School varsity soccer team versus the Town of Darien alumni soccer game was scheduled for 12 noon this past weekend. They were going to play on the new soccer field, great weather conditions, you get the Tim Blake Founders Cup trophy, blah, blah, blah. The turnout of alumni players, their families, and dedicated soccer supporters was notable. I'm now quoting. At 15 minutes after 12, a serious revelation was realized. There would be no annual alumni soccer game for the Founders Cup. Not a single Darien High School varsity soccer player showed up to play. Obviously, it goes on from there. You can read the letter at DarienTimes.com. Here's my thinking, and again, I want to flush this out a little more, but it just came across to me today, and I want to see if we can get somebody on from Darien Soccer to talk about it. My thinking is this: somebody missed a memo somewhere.
Right. So someone got a date wrong or something. It's not like 5 kids showed up and 15 didn't. And if the whole team didn't show up, I mean, it's particularly because they know this is going to happen. If they're seniors on the team, if they're juniors, they've been through it before. They know that this game happens, and they've shown up for it in the past. So if they all missed it this time, I'm willing to bet that there was a miscommunication somewhere.
So before I go or you, before either one of us go and condemn someone, I want to kind of dig a little deeper before we find out I want to find out exactly what went on. Has to be more to the story than this.
You would think, and I get someone brought their family out and they didn't get to see a game and they were disappointed and angry and they fired off a letter to the editor. I get that, I understand it, but yeah, I mean, when an entire team misses it, I find it hard to believe they would boycott a tradition at their own school.
So we'll see if we can get a little more on that. Maybe we can get John Bradley, the Darien High School boys soccer coach, to join us. Now, but I don't know if it would even be him, because there's a finite number of ways that a coach can coach his team, and then there comes a point that I don't think he's allowed to coach anymore. And I know there's some sticky areas to that I got to figure out.
Right. Well, because the soccer championships had already happened.
Right.
So then you're technically in an off season. So would he be allowed to coach his team?
I'm not sure.
That's yet another vagary of the CIAC rulebook.
So we'll dig a little more on that one. But again, it just hit, so I wanted to see if we could get a little more on that. Don, we have run over our appointed time, so let's regroup for tomorrow.
Got to wrap this up and get back at it tomorrow. We'll be back with some breakdowns of the brackets, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We thank Hudson Hamill for joining us in today's show. Thanks to Rob Trefone, the head football coach down at Darien. He was able to facilitate that interview for us. AJ Simonowski sitting across the way, the great editing of Eric Gendron. For Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your day. We will see you tomorrow. Of course, coffee break will get your day started at 11 o'clock, and you've got the drive with Denise as well. And then Don and I back at 2. But for now, have a great afternoon, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. So long, everyone.